Okay. Are we all here?
Why does your voice sound like that? Seriously.
Like what?
Your voice sounds really weird.
Like what?
I don't know. Like I said, John Cena. And no, Chris. Chris!
Who?
Yes.
How does it sound like John Cena?
Does his voice sound weird?
No.
Okay, John Cena doesn't describe it.
Oh my God.
I don't know what John Cena sounds like.
Okay.
Well, it's obviously Ian. He's here, isn't he?
Here. Ian.
What?
Talk. Listen to yourself.
Oh, sick. Oh, so now I can take it?
And maybe pitch my voice up like this.
I hate you.
I can pitch it down.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to Chordcast. I am your host, Joelle Alexander, with my dudes, Ian and Chris. How are we doing, guys?
Hey, doing really good. Well, sorry.
I
Chris?
can see you guys, and you can see me.
Oh my
Chris
gosh.
is recording for the first time ever in the history of him and I podcasting, even back to our musician days.
Ugh.
He is using his camera for the first time ever. So this is the first time I've ever seen Chris's face move.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Folks at
Yeah, it's
home who are just listening by the fireside, using your imagination, he looks majestic.
Yes, I am very majestic.
Your hair does look really good.
Well, thank you.
We should
You're
note
welcome.
for this episode, Chris is calling in on his phone. So I'm recording him via Skype, so he's not going to sound as incredible as he normally does, or as
That is
high
true.
fidelity. But we're gonna get close.
Hopefully.
We're going to do our darndest.
Mm-hmm.
So today we have a very different special episode for you guys. It's March what? And according to some people who care about sports, which is not me, there's a thing called March Madness, which I actually had to look up. And it's a thing that the basketball people do. So they play basketball in March, and it's very important and very intense. And the tournament is actually in Boise this year. I'm not going because I don't sports. So we have decided to create our own March Madness, and my very good friend Chris is going to explain the rules because I don't know what's happening. All I know is I had to just nearly kill my children for this episode. So, and by children, I mean bands, you freaks. Okay, Chris.
I was
That's a little
what
creepy,
do
I'm
you
not gonna lie.
mean by that?
Well, it's like Sophie's Choice for music.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving on. So Chris is going to explain the rules. Chris, take it away.
Okay, so the way this is going to work, we're splitting this up in 2 episodes. And the first episode, which is the one you're listening to now, each of us has picked, what did we do? 16 songs.
Each.
16 songs each. And we're not going to make Ian edit them into this episode because that would just be a living nightmare for him. So if you want to hear all of our 16 songs, go to the Chordcast Spotify, and you can hear that. You can also go to our blog, which is on thechordcast.com. We'll have links to that. We will be playing the winning song from each of our brackets that will be competing in the final 4. We'll be playing that, but everything else will just have to be on your own for. So we're going to go. We had each. We didn't seed these ourselves, 1 through 16. We had one of the other hosts do it for each other. So we didn't seed 1 through 16 our songs ourselves. We had one of the other hosts do it. So the matchups are they're not totally unknown to us because we did get the chance to look at our brackets ahead of time. But at least for me, I've not looked at mine really in deep. So I don't know really what to expect from this. But basically, we're going to have matchups until we have a sole winner, similar to how basketball does their version of the tournament. And then eventually we'll have a final four. And the fourth bracket, since there's only 3 hosts, we each picked 5 songs. So we have 15, and then decided on a 6th song or a 16th song. And we'll be doing that next episode. So we'll have the final 4 next time as well.
Yeah.
And I just want to preface this with that friendships will probably be ruined when we get to the collaborative bracket.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to know that everything I say is personal.
Yes.
And I want you to know that.
And speaking of this, the fourth bracket, we each, because it was blatantly obvious that Joelle would let Silverstein win her bracket regardless of what it was matched up again. So we couldn't let that happen. So yes, we do know that. You said it yourself. So
I didn't say that Def Leppard joke.
Oh yeah, like you totally didn't say it. So we each had like a number 1 song that will automatically be going in the combined bracket. So if you don't hear one of our favorite bands in it, that's why.
Cool.
I'll be here next time.
Everyone will be like, I don't understand why Miley Cyrus wasn't in Ian's top 16.
Yeah.
Spoilers. It's going in the next bracket.
No!
And I'm going to argue for Miley Cyrus over Silverstein.
I'm quitting this podcast. We're done now. We're not even going to finish March Madness.
So who's going first in this?
Joelle.
You.
Chris, sorry, no.
Me.
Chris, Joelle, me.
Okay. Basically the order of the torture track standings. Right?
So
I'm the best.
Sure. So
We'll
how
see.
we're going to do this as well. Right now all of us have 16 songs that are going to go up against each other. And so Chris is going to do his initial 16. So pick 8. And then I'll do my 16, pick 8, and then Ian will do his. So we'll do this in rounds. So it's not like we're going to do Chris's bracket all the way through to begin with. And I think that that's going to be good because I might change my mind kind of depending on hearing on what you guys consider important. I probably won't, but I might. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, okay.
And we want our own song to eventually win. So
Correct.
yeah, we got to make sure we're picking the one that we think might win too.
So Chris, do you have your bracket pulled up or do you want me to tell you what your songs are?
I think you should tell me because I do not have it pulled up.
Okay, cool. So your first matchup, which this was seeded by me, so if it sucks, you're going to have to deal with it. So your first matchup is You Will Leave a Mark by A Silent Film versus I Was Born, I Have Lived, I Will Surely Die by Young Guns.
Oh. This is tough.
Yes!
This is actually one of the tough ones when I looked at the bracket ahead of time. So first, the silent film song. Obviously, by the last episode, you guys should know that I'm a big fan of a silent film.
Mm-hmm.
And to be perfectly honest, You Will Leave a Mark is not. I know we said we were doing favorite songs. Is probably. See, I don't really have a top favorite by them. I have a few that's like on equal standing.
Yeah.
Whereas I Was Born, I Have Lived, I Will Surely Die is probably one of my favorite Young Gun songs and is very, very underrated.
Chris, you got to pick, man. It's Sophie's choice here. You have to do it. Ian's leaned back in anticipation.
I'm going to go with Young Guns. And I know that's surprising.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it just because I have fond memories of that album because it's on Bones. And I don't know. I was a fan of Young Guns before A Silent Film. So
That's fair.
Robert,
Okay, I am surprised.
Robert is going to be listening, and he's going to be pissed. I
let's
thought
hope
you
not.
said I was adorable, Chris.
I'm sorry, Robert, if you are listening to this.
Okay,
Tour,
there's pick
tour
number
together,
one.
Robert. Take Young Guns out, and Chris will be very happy.
I will.
Okay, your next mashup: "Don't Look Back in Anger" by Oasis versus "Rocket" by Def Leppard.
This is an easy one, Rocket by Def Leppard, and it's simply because it was the first song that I really considered my own and like my favorite when I was growing up. My dad played that Hysteria album over and over and over in the car, and I made him repeat Rocket as often as I possibly could. And as much as I love Oasis and I love Don't Look Back in Anger, and I love the message it conveys, I've got to go with Rocket on this one.
If
All
my
right.
kids made me play Rocket over and over again, I'd be like, sorry, kids, we're not listening to music anymore.
Dad's gonna go work at Chipotle instead.
Matchup number 3. What's next?
Matchup number 3. Okay, so next up we have Generique by Miles Davis versus Well I Wonder by the Smiths.
Oh. So, for those that don't know, I am a trumpet player. Miles Davis is a trumpet player. Generique is one of my favorite Miles Davis songs. You've probably heard it before on the Matthew McConaughey Lincoln car commercials. Whereas Well I Wonder is a very underrated Smith song that never got played live, unfortunately. God, I don't know. I'm going to go with, and I hate doing this, Miles Davis.
All right. You
That
killed
was
the Smiths,
that was my
Chris.
cover of the song.
How does it feel to kill the Smiths?
It feels awful.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, matchup number 4. Lost in the Twilight Hall by Blind Guardian versus The Call by Backstreet Boys.
Ooh, this is a very, what's the word? These are like opposites when it comes to matchups, because you have a pop song, and then this other one is like speed metal.
Yep. That was the point.
I have a very soft spot for The Call by the Backstreet Boys because I was a huge fan of them when I was a child. I still listen to them to this day.
Dude.
One of my favorite moments was after months of waiting on it, getting their most recent CD autographed in the mail.
Ooh.
So that was cool. And fun story, years ago, like this is like, I'm talking like the year 2000 or 2001, me and my mom went to Florida to surprise her boyfriend who was there doing some like work training. And we were in the shuttle going from the airport to the hotel, and I was listening to the Backstreet Boys on cassette, by the way, and singing the song in the middle of the shuttle. So, yeah. And funny enough, I didn't know this at the time because, I was like 8 years old at the time. But the song is about cheating on your girlfriend. So,
dude, well, I knew.
So you
I
just
knew,
belted that one
I
right
knew
out
what you
when
were
you
up
were 8.
to.
I did. Yes,
I knew what
I
you
did.
were up to back then, buddy. You were like second grade. You were like, Alicia is never gonna find out about Samantha.
Oh Lord, yes.
Oh my God. So what's your pick? You have to pick.
Whereas Blind Guardian this is one of my favorite songs by them. I'm gonna go simply because of my airport shuttle story. I'm gonna go with The Call.
Ooh, Backstreet Boys moving to the next
I
round.
swear, if they make the bracket,
Tell me why.
I am gonna be so mad. Okay. Matchup 5. Are you ready?
Yes.
Online Song by Blink-182, and What Kind of Fool Am I by Sammy Davis Jr.
I'm gonna go with Online Songs. I love Sammy. I love What Kind of Fool Am I, but that song makes me sad, and Online Songs does not make me sad.
It
makes me want to drive my car. It makes me want to drive fast in my car and sing along to the song with somebody else. Whereas What Kind of Fool Am I makes me feel lonely and depressed. So, Blink 182.
Two totally different kind of favorite songs.
Yes, definitely.
Both appropriate in their own way.
Matchup 6. Duel of the Fates by John Williams.
Oh.
And
Such a good song.
Look.
I haven't seen his bracket. I love Duel of the Fates.
And then I'm gonna mess up this last name, but it's Liberi Fatali by Nobuo. You can say it really well.
Nobuo Uematsu.
Okay, perfect. This is between him and your boy John Williams.
I was hoping these two songs would not be.
They'd meet eventually.
I know.
They are.
So as much as I love Star Wars, well, that's debatable now. As much as I love this song from Star Wars, I've got to go with my boy Nobuo because it's Final Fantasy, and how can you not love Final Fantasy?
Dude.
So you don't love Star Wars?
What are you doing?
I know.
Nope.
Ian's mad. Ian's
I know.
shook.
Why?
Okay, moving on, so he'll stop making noise. Matchup 7, second to last, Chris. How are you feeling right now? Like, do you feel
I'm
like
positive.
confident?
There's none that I'm heartbroken over yet.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna cry on all mine. Okay, so your next matchup, and I did this very intentionally, but I think I know what's gonna happen. Citizen Erased by Muse versus It Was a Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
I knew it. I knew. Is there a song in this bracket that would beat Frank?
We'll see.
Don't be hypocritical and be like, you had to put Silverstein in the fourth bracket, but I'll put Frank Sinatra in even though he's going to win automatically.
Yeah, see, what the heck?
No. Listen, I like Frank, but the song that I picked, Diary of Jane, would have beaten Frank.
Okay.
That's the only
love
Breaking
this.
Benjamin song that would beat Frank Sinatra. So
Okay.
one or the other.
Okay, last for your pick of 8. Inspire the Liars by Dance Gavin Dance versus Freezy by Wolf Alice.
Okay. These are two of the more recent bands that I've gotten into. And I'm trying to feel, well, they go up against Frank Sinatra in the next round.
Ian's trying to look into your soul and guide you.
I love Wolf Alice, but I've got to go with Dance Gavin Dance on this one.
Oh, Ian!
Mothership was one of my favorite albums of, when did it come out? 2016? And there was a good reason for that. So, yeah,
I thought you were going to go the other way,
but
that's okay.
The Liars.
It's your bracket, it's not mine. Wolf Alice isn't even on my bracket. So.
Okay, Chris. So I'm going to do a little recap really quick over your picks.
Okay.
So you chose I Was Born, I Have Lived, I Will Surely Die by Young Guns, Rocket by Def Leppard, I forgot how to say it.
Generique
by Miles Davis, The Call by Backstreet Boys, Online Songs by Blink-182, Liberi Fatali by, can't say it, you do it.
Nobuo Uematsu.
Yes, you got it. It Was a Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra, and Inspire the Liars by Dance Gavin Dance. So now Ian is going to feed me my bracket while I cry loud tears.
Yeah, so I built this bracket specifically to make Joelle sad on every matchup.
Thanks.
So hopefully
It's an avocado. Thanks.
Thanks. So hopefully we get some real tears here. All right. So are we ready?
Probably will.
Are we ready for matchup number 1?
No.
Okay, here we go. It is Tidal Wave by Owl City versus Octa Hate by Ren Weaver.
This is actually pretty easy for me. I'm going to go Tidal Wave by Owl City.
By your boy.
Even though I'm really bummed that Rin is out, that song is incredible. Lyrically and instrumentally. I mean, that is it is my favorite Owl City song.
All
and
right.
It's such a banger.
That's
It's
the first one from Ocean Eyes, right?
It's either the first or the last. It might be the first.
It
I don't know.
is a very happy song about just kind of depression.
How does it start? Is it something like I would cross my arms
Hold
and
on.
cross?
I wish I could cross my arms.
Yeah. Okay, I know what song that is. That is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, it's just very real. And I think that it's like that whole album had really great songwriting on it. And his lyrics on that song, I think, were really like set him apart. So,
Yep.
Yeah,
but I
I'm
love
not-
Rin. Rin, I love you.
Peace, Rin. I was gonna say I've always liked his lyrics. I'm not a huge Owl City fan. I'll take him a song at a time, but his lyrics I've always enjoyed.
Have you heard that song before?
I liked it.
I highly suggest it. It's a really good
That
song.
whole album is good, though.
That's true.
His voice. It's hard for me to listen to him because his voice is so processed that it's like I feel like I'm listening to robot music, but at the same time I know that's his thing.
Yeah.
All right, matchup number 2. Are we ready?
No.
Badlands by In Heart's Wake versus Somewhere in This Miserable ... by Comeback Kid.
Okay, I'm going to talk this one out.
Talk it out.
It's not going to help me.
Talk it out.
So, In Heart's Wake is this incredible metalcore band from Australia, and Comeback Kid are just like punk from Canada, and they're both such good songs. And if I just continue to like filibuster, will I just not have to pick eventually?
What's your gut say?
That's what my gut says.
I spit. The spit went flying everywhere. It's on my screen.
I don't know. Okay, hold on. They're just they're built so well.
It's Canada versus Australia.
I'm going to have to go with Comeback Kid.
Oh,
Ooh.
I didn't see that
I wasn't
coming.
expecting that.
That song, it's really that song. I mean, they're good. God, can I take it back? I
Nope.
don't
You
know.
said it.
Nope.
This is chess. You've made your move. Comeback Kid
this.
wins.
I hate this
Matchup-
more than torture tracks, and I really hate torture tracks.
Matchup number 3. Shameful Metaphors by Chevelle versus Last to Fall by Starset.
This is an easy choice.
Chevelle has such a nostalgia factor because that's one of the first bands that my brother and I started listening to together. And I've seen them before and met them, and like I love them, and they're so good live. And Starset is also means so much to me just because I've seen them so many times and they're so amazing. So I think I'm actually gonna have to go with Starset on this one.
All right.
Oh, wrong.
Starset is not the last to fall. They are continuing. They're still going. That was a horrible pun. I could have made a better pun, I feel like, but
Yeah, you kind of suck at this.
All right, matchup number 4. Ready to Go by Panic at the Disco and Holding On to You by 21 Pilots.
No.
Easy choice. Easy choice.
Easy choice.
Okay.
Don't panic,
here's
Joelle.
My problem. Here's my problem. I have loved Panic! The Disco for 7 years, and I have loved 21 Pilots for about 1 or 2. And so Panic has that time factor, and Ready to Go was like my coming of age song. It was like, yes, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to live. I'm ready to experience all these things. But then Holding On to You by 21 Pilots is such a good song lyrically and like instrumentally. Just because I know I'll hate myself if I don't do this, I'm going to pick Panic.
Oh, you fool.
That is the correct choice.
What? You too, Chris? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Panic at the Disco.
Ian?
I do not.
I do not like Panic at the Disco at all.
See, I don't like 21 Pilots.
I didn't know that about you, Chris. I'm sorry.
Did you not even like A Fever You Can't Sweat Out?
I've never liked Panic at the Disco.
So much wrong with you. So much emptiness in your life.
Oh, there's so much. You don't even know.
I keep unearthing all these things. Just keep going.
And now we'll talk about the time in my life when I didn't listen to Panic at the Disco. Sorry, I was busy listening to better music. Matchup number 5. Nothing You Can Do to Me by Stick to Your Guns. And Wake Up by Wolves at the Gate.
I really wish you would have just done a random generator.
I'm glad I didn't.
I'm going to go to Stick to Your Guns. I'm going to go with Stick to Your Guns.
That was easy.
You're going to stick to your guns by picking Stick to Your Guns.
Well, she would have stuck to her guns anyways if she'd picked Wolves at the Gate.
So we're just gonna go on a little story time right now.
Uh-oh.
And I'm gonna tell you very quickly why I picked this. So my freshman year, it was my second semester, and it was the last football game of the year, and I had gone home because I don't sports. And so I was walking back through campus, and this guy came out of the shadows and came at me and was trying to grab me. And I pulled out my stun gun, and he ran away because he's a coward. And then I found out later that 2 hours later, he had broken into a dorm and raped a girl. And then I knew what this guy looked like, and I filed a police report. And then fast forward to that summer, I was getting ready to go for a run, and Disobedient by Stick to Your Guns was my running album for that season. And so I looked on my Facebook, and they had caught the guy, and it turned out that he had been doing this for 20 years. He had been at large for 20 years, and he had gotten over 20 girls. And so I was like, whoa, I would have been victim 19, you know? So I went for a run, and I was listening to Disobedient by Stick to Your Guns, and I ran so fast, and I was running so hard because I was so upset, and I literally collapsed on the side of the road. And that song was playing, and I just remember like kneeling on the side of the road thinking like, there's nothing. He does not have this power over me. Like, I am not going to be scared of this guy anymore. And so that song and like that whole album has just always meant a lot to me.
That's a story.
Yeah, it's a little heavy. So if it doesn't need to go in, that's okay. But
no, that's good. That's good. That's nuts.
Yeah,
That's
it
good.
was crazy. It was like surreal because I saw the article and I opened it and I was like, that's him. That's the guy.
How crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Oof.
Yeah.
You helped nail him though, so nice. Oh, I feel heavy now.
I'm
That's
so
okay.
sorry.
Let's go round 6.
We're done.
Two completely different things. In Between by Beartooth versus Mine by Taylor Swift.
In Between by Beartooth.
Okay, well, why was Taylor even on here?
Because I think if it was depending on the other song, she would have gotten picked.
That's fair. That's classic Taylor too. That's like baby Taylor.
I appreciate that Taylor. The Speak Now Taylor is my Taylor. That was high school Taylor, and I love her for it.
Back when she was actually country. Yeah. All right. Number 7, Soul Addiction by Siler, and Don't Lean on Me by the Amity Affliction. Amity Affliction.
I love how you said Siler, and it's Silar, isn't it? Silar?
Is it Silar?
Yeah, it's Silar.
Oh, that's so dumb.
You sounded like you were from West Virginia there, Ian.
This band.
I'm going to go listen to Siler.
All right. Sorry. Soul Addiction by Silar, and Don't Lean on Me by the Amity Affliction.
I love Silar, but I'm going with Amity on this one.
Good.
Yeah.
Even though both songs are garbage. All right. Number dual wielding. Coming in at you hot and quick. Here we go. Number 8. Frame and Focus by Lights. And Follow You by Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh, this is another hard one.
Two
because
completely different bands, but the songs sound in the same genre.
Yeah, they're kind of poppy. It was when Bring Me the Horizon went very poppy. This is a hard one because I love me some Lights. We know that. She's one of the exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that song, but the Bring Me the Horizon song is excellent as well. And I have probably listened to that an ungodly amount of times. I'm going to have to go with Bring Me the Horizon.
All right.
I'm so sorry. I just killed all my girls.
Dude, you did. You killed Lights.
No!
You killed Taylor. You killed Rin Weaver. You have no females in your...
I've been saying this for years, y'all. I'm not sexist.
Feminist.
I just don't... I will always prefer a male singer. It's horrible. You're like a jerk.
Ridiculous. All right, well, here's the roundup here. The winners were Owl City, Comeback Kid, Starset, Panic at the Disco, Stick to Your Guns, Beartooth, The Amity Affliction, and Bring Me the Horizon. And as we go through and we cut out everything, we suddenly come to the core of Joelle, which is just hard, heavy rock.
Yeah! I was going to say, that doesn't sound far off because I'm pretty sure I mention all of those bands every episode.
Comeback Kid, yeah. I don't think you've ever mentioned Comeback Kid.
They've been a taste test or something like that before.
Maybe before I was producer, because I don't remember them at all.
Yeah, I've mentioned them before. Ian, are you ready? This is courtesy of your friend Chris. Have you looked at it?
A little bit. I know there's gonna be a couple of tough ones, but I'm hardening my heart. So
can I explain how I seeded this?
Yes, because you did not do it like Joelle and I did, which is purely emotions.
Yeah, I listened to all of the songs and wrote down in order of preference 1 through 16. So I'm going to just give a spoiler for the first matchup here. My favorite song went up against my least favorite song of Ian's. In this case, it was "Hurt" by Johnny Cash and "Something Hollywood." Right?
I am Hollywood by He Is Legend.
That was your least favorite? That song's great.
That song is garbage, but okay. To each their own, I guess. Ian is done.
Goodbye.
He's gotten up from his perch.
Ooh, you put on the sunglasses. He does that now. So, yeah, Chris had a very different way of seeding Ian's bracket than Ian and I did. So we'll see if it's as torturous. I actually don't think it will be because you didn't...
There's a couple tough ones.
You ready, Ian?
Yes.
Chris blew it. But your first matchup, "Hurt" by Johnny Cash and "I Am Hollywood" by He Is Legend.
"Hurt" by Johnny Cash.
I knew it. I
love He Is Legend. I love that song so much. But that song has never made me feel so many feelings that I've cried on several occasions. That music video will just break your heart into 1,000 pieces.
Okay. Matchup 2. I've got 10 friends and a crowbar that says "You Ain't Gonna Do Jack" by Under Oath versus "Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste" by Norma Jean.
There's only one proper choice here.
This is a hard one, and I know how you rank this, so I know which one you want me to pick, Chris. So the song by Under Oath is one of my favorites by them. Even though I think it's not mixed very well, it came out as a single. It wasn't on their Only Chasing Safety. It was the first song where Spencer started to do low screams. And I remember when it came out, it's like me and my little brother, and we were like, "Spencer grew balls." We were like, "Oh, like there's like he can low scream now," and it was like the dopest thing ever.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Hi,
and we
Ryan.
were like, "Oh my gosh!" And yeah, and then Memphis is just the Norma Jean classic. It's like it's usually the one they'll do an encore with. It's got Aaron Weiss, I think, from Me Without You, in it, and it's just so nostalgic. And I'm gonna have to go with Norma Jean on this one because that song means a lot more to me, and the breakdown in it's so sick. Like you're doing the waltz with your murderer, and I'm like,
Okay.
I hate when I'm doing the waltz with my murderer, and then someone makes those noises.
frankly,
Yes.
worst waltz.
All right, moving on. So for pick 3, you have Passenger Seat by Death Cab for Cutie versus Another Boredom Movement by Project 86.
This is another tough one because these two songs are polar opposites. They're completely different. One is one of my favorite Project 86 songs, which is why it's on this bracket. And the next one is a fantastic song by Death Cab for Cutie that is just beautifully simple, and its lyrics just make you want to like fall in love with somebody. And you know what? I was talking to Kelsey about the bracket earlier, and I'm going to go back on what I said. It's going to go to Death Cab. It's
Nice.
Death Cab for Cutie is gonna take that one
Interesting.
because that song.
That's not what I would have figured.
That song just makes me want to like find the nearest person and kiss them.
Don't do that unless it's Kelsey.
Usually that's Kelsey, but you never know when you're listening on the bus or something. And it's like, you mind?
Hey, I don't mean to come on too strong, but we got to kiss right now.
It's just got to be intimate and at least 3 seconds.
Okay. So your next matchup number 4. When I Remember by Blindside versus Glissoli by Sigur Rós.
Close. Glissoli by Sigur Rós.
Pick.
This is going to Sigur Rós, hands down. Not even a competition.
Oh.
This song, When I Remember, is wonderful, and I love it. Sigur Rós is one of my absolute favorite bands of all time, and this song is incredible.
All right. Matchup 5. Pride by Manchester Orchestra versus Let It Be by Labyrinth.
I was so happy when I saw that these were matched up.
So I really like Let It Be by Labyrinth. And it's funny because we're picking favorite songs. It's really the only song that I love by Labyrinth. He's not a super well-known guy.
I've never heard
but
of him.
this song is cool. Like, it is really cool. Did you listen to it, Chris?
Yes.
I think it's a super cool song. I love it. It's got to go to my boys, though, Manchester Orchestra, because Pride is freaking rock and roll, and that song rules.
All right.
I thought it was pop punk.
Oh, yeah.
We're
sorry.
moving on. Matchup 6, On Distant Shores by Five Iron Frenzy versus Oblivion by Mastodon.
Oh, I forgot about this one. Oh. Shoot.
Come on, man.
Shoot.
Come on.
It's Five Iron. Five Iron takes it.
Really?
Oblivion by Mastodon is another one of those songs that's just sick. It's probably my favorite song by Mastodon. But Five Iron, that song is just... I love Five Iron Frenzy so much. I went on a Twitter rampage about it not that long ago. And decided to tweet all of the lyrics to that song. Over a course of like 45 tweets. And it's just such a good song.
Awesome. Matchup 7. Forgot where we were at. Matchup 7. Coming to the end here, winding down.
Yes.
We have Speak by The Chariot versus Admission Regret by As Cities Burn.
You know what? Now that I'm like actually having to make these decisions, Chris, yours is brutal. Oh, man. So Admission Regret. Funny, both songs have Josh Goggin in them. Featured in Admission Regret, where he just screams regret over and over in the bridge.
Because Josh can do that and it'll sound wicked.
Oh, yes. And it's back when he sounded more like Norma Jean, Josh Goggin, kind of before The Chariot, or at least right when The Chariot was started. I guess it also sounds like Chariot Album 1, Josh Goggin. Anyways, it's going to go to Speak. Because Josh Goggin had the audacity to write a beautiful piano song and scream over it.
He's kind of the only one I would say that could pull that off. Dope. Okay, last
The Chariot.
of your pick 8, Ian. Here we go. A Prayer by King's Kaleidoscope versus Over the Hills and Far Away by Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Dude, when I saw that you had that, I was like, why didn't I put Led Zeppelin on mine? I would have put The Ocean.
Over the Hills and Far Away was one of the first technical guitar songs I ever learned how to play. And I remember I would like go to Guitar Center and be like, oh, I'm just going to try out this acoustic. And just start playing it just so I could show off.
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah, so there we go.
To recap, are you ready?
Yeah.
You have Johnny Cash, Norma Jean, Death Cab for Cutie, Sigur Rós.
Rose.
Sigur Rós.
Think of a rose.
Manchester Orchestra, Five Iron Frenzy, The Chariot, and Led Zeppelin. Are you feeling
Sweet.
good? Feeling solid?
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty happy about how diverse that is.
Yeah.
Unlike somebody I know.
It's not like rock, or like rock also has Chris. Like Chris also has rock.
It's not like also Chris has rock. It's getting so dark in this.
Like not also rock Chris.
All right.
I'm gonna turn some lights on. Hold on. So now Chris is up for his pick 4. Yes. That's 4 brackets right there. I can count. Okay.
Now you're up for your pick 4.
Your pick 4. Okay, Chris. Chris, are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Okay. Your first pick. I Was Born, I Have Lived, I Will Surely Die by Young Guns versus Rocket by Def Leppard. And I just want to say, Chris is sitting there listening to me say that with his eyes closed. And he's like, he's all zen. He's just ready to go. He's like, yeah, he's going to let it flow through him and just right out of him. And he's going to make the right decision.
I have a reasoning of why I would pick Rocket. And it is because...
But
Shut up.
Hold on.
Okay, so I think sometimes I have the only issue that I have with Bones, and I still have it to this day, is I think the mixing in it, I'm talking about the album, is weird at times. Like I don't think it's the best with some tracks. I think there's times when like Gus's vocals are a little drowned out by the instrumentation.
I think that's the point, though. I think it's like intentionally like that.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm thinking too.
So make the right decision, Chris.
Hang on. So that being said, Rocket just got Hysteria just got a brilliant remaster. So it sounds really good, which would put it over the edge for me. However, as much as I love Def Leppard and I love the Hysteria remaster, I think I'm going to go with Young Guns just because. And I want to tell you why. Because without Young Guns, I would not have gotten to know Joel.
Oh, dude.
So sweet. So cute.
Just propose now.
Please don't. I'll turn you down, and then that will be super awkward.
Dude, that's how we go viral. We plan it that way.
Failed marriage proposal on podcast. Must see. Share if you agree. LOL.
I cringed at number 21, even though that has nothing to do with it.
Okay, Young Guns moves on.
Wow.
They beat Def Leppard.
Wow.
And yeah, that's a surprise, but
I'm really happy.
Funny enough, I think that if you told Young Guns that they beat Def Leppard, they would tell you to take it back. Like they would tell you to pick
probably,
Def Leppard.
Yeah. Def Leppard is one of the biggest UK bands to ever like really happen, and it's like their story is just.
I don't know. Have you heard of the Beatles?
Have you heard what?
Oh, the Beatles?
Beatles suck.
Or maybe the Clash? Oh, I don't know. The Sex Pistols.
Have you heard of 5 Seconds to Summer?
Have you heard of 500 Days of Summer? I'm so sorry, Chris. I'm being facetious and continue with your story.
No, I'm done.
Cool.
Young Guns
Okay,
it
next
is.
up, your second pick for your pick 4. I can't say it. Say it again.
Just Generique.
Okay.
I'm probably
Generique.
getting it wrong too.
Whatever. Generique by Miles Davis versus The Call by Backstreet Boys.
Oh, this is a matchup I never saw coming.
This is not the matchup I was expecting to have. Okay, so
Jesus, is that you?
I
Pick.
Backstreet Boys.
What?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I gotta go with Backstreet Boys.
No.
Yeah,
You didn't.
no, I'm going with it. I have to.
All right, bro. Proud of you.
Chris is
I'll-
also sticking to his guns.
Yeah, I mean, I love Miles Davis. Don't get me wrong, but the one problem with that song is that it's really short.
Okay.
Like it's like 2 minutes, maybe 3, but I'm pretty sure it's just 2 minutes long. Yeah,
Backstreet
as much
Boys.
as I love it,
Wow.
Backstreet Boys.
Your pick 3.
Wow.
Your third of your pick 3. Of your pick 4. Online Songs by Blink-182 versus Liberi Fatali by, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. You say it.
Nobua
Sound it out.
Uematsu.
Sound it out.
What?
Sound it out. Sound out the name.
Nobuo
There you go.
Uematsu?
Uematsu. But yeah,
Ui.
close enough.
Did you say Uematsu?
Yes.
Okay. My mouth, like, won't. Like,
You literally can't Japanese.
It's like Nobuo. Nobuo Uematsu.
There you go.
Yes. Okay, pick.
Blink 182.
Ooh.
All right, dude. We're
And
going. This is like a '90s freaking matchup.
My reasoning for that, aside from the fact that I think, like, I enjoy online songs better, Final Fantasy VIII, which is what that song is from, that's not my favorite Final Fantasy. Whereas Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is my favorite Blink 182 album. So yeah,
It's fair.
It's a good
All right,
one.
your last one. And we know the winner here. It Was a Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra versus Inspire the Liars by Dance Gavin Dance.
so it was a very good year for Dance Gavin Dance in 2016 with Mothership, but Frank still wins.
Here are the contenders for your semifinals.
Okay.
Young Guns,
hmm
Backstreet Boys,
Okay.
Blink-182, and Frank Sinatra.
God, that's a cluster if I've ever heard of one.
Dude, that's incredible.
All right.
You were so
Obviously-
unique.
I was not expecting that, but okay.
Obviously, Chris has the most diverse music taste out of us.
No, I just have not grown up from music from my childhood.
That's fair.
That is fair. All right,
All
Gerald,
right,
it's your
Ian,
turn.
I'm ready.
It's your turn. Here we go. Round number 1.
Put me in, coach.
Tidal Wave by Owl City versus Somewhere in This Miserable ... by Comeback Kid.
Owl City.
Okay, there
There
it
you
is.
go.
That was painless. Oh, it was painful?
It was painful. I was holding all that tension in my jaw.
Ah, clearly. Oh, man. Okay, round 2. Last to Fall by Starset versus Ready to Go by Panic at the Disco.
Oh no, my dudes. I don't know what to do.
There's a clear winner here.
Panic.
Oh.
Yep.
No, I can't believe I just did that.
Last of Fall isn't even Starset's best song, so
Yes, it is.
no, it's not.
Last to
Yes, it is.
Fall.
Incorrect.
Ian, did you like it?
It's okay.
Oh,
I get tired of them singing "Last to Fall" over and over and over again, the exact same way over and over and over again. Like it's just cut and paste.
I feel physically sick.
Good.
I just cut Starset from my bracket.
Good.
Yep.
This is what I
Join
wanted.
the club. That's That's March Madness for you.
Are you ready for round 3?
No.
Nothing You Can Do to Me by Stick to Your Guns versus In Between by Beartooth.
Oh crap!
So I have a quick question. Why did you choose In Between? Because I feel like that wouldn't be the song you would choose by Beartooth.
What song do you think I would choose by Beartooth?
I don't know anything else beside that, because usually you're like against the singles, and that's like one of their less heavy songs, and I don't know, it just seems out of character.
Fun. I love the chorus.
Okay.
I am gonna go with Stick to Your Guns on this one.
I saw that coming from a mile away.
I can't believe this. This is horrible. Never. I was like, oh, Beartooth's gonna make it. Beartooth's gonna make it.
No way.
No.
They were never going to make it. All right. I think I know what the winner's going to... No, I don't know what the winner's going to be. Don't Lean on Me by The Amity Affliction and Follow You by Bring Me the Horizon.
Amity.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. That was what I was gonna...
It was cute that they were like matched up together, but it was a good effort bringing the Horizon, but it's never gonna happen.
Okay, well, that I felt like overall that wasn't. It could have been more painful.
I'm crying.
Okay, good. So your semifinal matchups are Tidal Wave by Owl City, Ready to Go by Panic at the Disco. Oh, that's going to be epic. And then Nothing You Can Do to Me by Stick to Your Guns versus Don't Lean on Me by The Amity Affliction. All right, there it is.
My problem is that if/when Amity makes it, you're never going to let that get through the combined bracket.
Oh, no way. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so I'm
not
screwed. Because even though I would pick them,
even if you picked them and they went through and they won, I would just edit it out entirely, and I would find an old episode of the Chordcast of you saying like a different band, and it would be a pain to edit on my part. But no way is Amity getting in there.
oh hell yes, they are.
All right.
It's my show, so
Okay.
whatever. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Are you ready, Ian?
Yes.
You have Pride by Manchester Orchestra versus On Distant Shores by Five Iron Frenzy.
Oh man.
You're welcome, by the way.
Oh, it's got to go to Five Iron.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's just so many feels that go to Five. There is such a history with Five Iron and me. It's got to go to Five Iron. And I feel like that song, Pride is a sick song. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, that was supposed to be your third pick, by the way. I went out of order.
I knew you went out of order, but I was just rolling with it. Five Iron that song's great. I in my heart, I still love ska, even though it is just not cool to like ska.
Cool. All right. Next up, Hurt by Johnny Cash versus Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste by Norma Jean. I know what you're going to say. I know it. And you know what you're going to say. So just say it.
Johnny Cash.
I knew it! Chris, yes.
Johnny
In the
Cash
background.
is going to take it. Because that man...
I'm so happy.
That man was a legend, and that song is legendary. And I love Norma Jean, but they're not legendary.
Okay. Next up, Passenger Seat by Death Cab for Cutie versus Solely by Sigur Rós.
Sigur Rós wins.
Dang it!
Both of them are beautiful songs. But
See, weirdly, I think this pick was easier for all of us.
I would
like,
agree.
I feel like
it's tougher in that I like the songs more, but I have very clearly already ranked them in my head, so it's easier for me to just boom.
All right, Speak by The Chariot versus Over the Hills and Far Away by Led Zeppelin. Ooh, maybe not. I thought I knew.
Over the Hills and Far Away.
I knew it. I knew it. All
Did
right.
any hardcore even make it into my finals?
No.
Wow.
All right.
I
So
must be grown
your
up.
contenders for your finalists are Johnny Cash,
Mm-hmm.
Sigur Rós, Five Iron Frenzy, and Led Zeppelin.
Dude, sweet.
It's dad rock.
I am
It's
happy
all
with that.
dad rock.
Dude, shut
And
your
said
mouth.
country.
There's a very good reason to like every one of those at any age.
But especially when you're a dad.
None of my kids like any of those songs. I guess it has nothing to do with
They're
my
like
kids.
3.
It's not dad rock. It's good music. Oh, God, I'm a dad. That's dad rock. I have to defend it.
What is your life? Okay. Chris, are you ready to pick your semifinalists?
No, but I guess I have to. This is the one I'm dreading, honestly.
All right. Online Songs by Blink-182 versus It Was a Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra.
Oh, I hate this matchup so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so It Was a Very Good Year is from the September of My Years album. It was almost Frank's last. Whereas Online Songs, still really good. What's my other matchup?
I'm not telling you. You have to pick between these two right now. Make a decision. Ian is not amused with how long you're taking.
I know. I'm so sorry, Blink. I've got to go with Frank.
Oh,
Yes!
surprised.
I
I'm
knew
so
it.
surprised Frank Sinatra made it to the semifinals. You tried to make it seem like that was painful. That was all acting.
No, seriously.
All right. This is who's going to battle your boy Frank.
God.
I Was Born, I Have Lived, I Will Surely Die by Young Guns versus The Call by Backstreet Boys. Please let the Backstreet Boys take on Frank Sinatra.
Oh, Lord. I think you guys know what I want to pick.
Come on,
Well,
boy.
so all I've got to say about Cinderella is if the shoe still fits, we're going to go with the Backstreet Boys.
Only in Chris McGuffin's world would the Backstreet Boys take on Frank Sinatra.
Yes.
Oh,
That's about right.
Wow.
You cut
man.
Young Guns for that.
I know.
Wow. All right,
Yeah.
I'm putting it in. So your final match is gonna be The Call by the Backstreet Boys versus It Was a Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
These final matchups should just be our bios on our website.
Oh, God.
That's all you need to know.
All right, Ian, I'm ready.
All right, number one.
He's winded.
I am. This is so good. Okay, Tidal Wave by Owl City versus Ready to Go by Panic at the Disco.
Can I phone a friend?
You may.
I'm gonna go with Panic.
All right. See you later.
That is surprising.
Owl City.
I don't know. That song
Panic
just
at
means way too much.
The Disco. All right, next matchup. Is Nothing You Can Do to Me by Stick to Your Guns versus Don't Lean on Me by the Amity Affliction.
Ooh, buddy.
Boy, howdy.
Oh crap. I can't. This is a horrible podcast right now because I'm just like wheezing into the mic. Okay. We know that I have every reason to pick Stick to Your Guns. And we also know I have every reason to pick "Don't Lean on Me" by Amity because that song pulled me out of the depths many a times.
We don't know that though.
Well, I'm not about to start talking about that, so I'm gonna go with Amity.
Good choice.
Crap.
I'm glad that song pulled you out of the depths.
Thanks. I'm glad that you cried to Johnny Cash.
That was fair. That was fair. Okay.
So I have Panic versus Amity.
Panic versus Amity.
This is not going to go well for anyone.
All right.
Okay, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Your first pick for your semifinals: "Hurt" by Johnny Cash versus "Glissoli" by Sigur Rós.
Sigur Rós.
Oh, you are a
What?
terrible human being.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because Sigur Rós is
Garbage?
That song's super beautiful. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's a beautiful song. I mean, Sigur Rós means a lot to me too. The band in general. Kelsey walked down the aisle to a Sigur Rós song.
Oh, sweet.
I was waiting for you to say that she walked down the aisle to Johnny Cash's "Hurt."
And then everyone cried,
Dude,
and we left.
She turned the corner. I saw her. Our eyes made contact, and Johnny sang, "What have I become? My sweetest friend."
Oh.
Stop it.
Okay,
It's not funny.
Sigur Rós. There. Okay, I'm happy. I'm fine with that. I'm happy Johnny came as far as he did, but there's a time and a place, and Johnny's no longer in the competition.
All right.
The man in black is gone.
Here you go. Who is going to go after Sigur Rós? "On Distant Shores" by Five Iron Frenzy or "Over the Hills and Far Away" by Led Zeppelin? I'm going to narrate this. He looks like he's in pain. He's nodding or he's shaking his head vigorously, and his eyes are squinted. He sort of looks like Santa Claus. If Santa Claus got his hair colored.
Okay, so there's so much emotion tied to Five Iron Frenzy, and then Over the Hills and Far Away, I don't have much emotion attached to, but it's such a great song. And I'm going to go with Led Zeppelin because that song shaped me as a guitarist.
All right.
Five Iron didn't.
Okay.
Wow.
So you have to put here's your semifinals. Are you ready for this? Because I really don't think that you are.
I had no idea this is how it was going to end up.
Neither did I.
So
Mine
weird
neither.
to me. Okay.
"Glissoli" by Sigur Rós versus "Over the Hills and Far Away" by Led Zeppelin.
That's so weird. I'm happy that that's my final two, but I totally did not see this coming.
Okay. All right,
How do you
Chris.
think I feel?
Okay, Chris. Make your decision. The Backstreet Boys or Frank Sinatra? The fact that you're thinking about it this hard.
Well, see, here's the thing. In many, if there are multiple universes where we're doing this right now, a lot of them I would pick the Backstreet Boys. Simply because I would want the Backstreet Boys to win my bracket, just so we can say that was the thing. However, I want to pick Frank over nostalgia because the Backstreet Boys is one of the first groups that I just fell in love with. I remember when they would perform on Nickelodeon on the Kids' Choice Awards, and I would run to the TV.
I just want to say for the record, I was right there with you. I'm laughing at the Backstreet Boys, but dude, I loved the Backstreet Boys.
They had toys at Burger King, and I collected them all.
Yeah. So awesome.
So I'm going to call foul on this because we weren't supposed to pick an artist that would go straight through. And Frank went straight through.
Because Breaking Benjamin wasn't here. And honestly, there are some songs in here that would have beaten Frank, but they didn't match up.
Okay, so your pick was Frank Sinatra. Yes. No takebacks.
Yes.
All right. I called it. I freaking called it. I knew it. I knew this is what you were going to do.
You should have put them up against someone else. What was their opening matchup? What was his opening matchup?
Muse.
Yeah, if they're yeah, gotta go with Frank.
No duh. All right, Chris, that's your pick. I'm ready.
And Joelle, here's your final pick. Ready to Go by Panic at the Disco or Don't Lean on Me by the Amity Affliction?
I am like you. I didn't think this was how this was going to end up. I thought it was going to be way different. I am going to have to go with Panic.
Okay.
Mm.
And I know Ian doesn't care because he doesn't like either of these artists. But I'm going with Panic because Panic was the first CD I ever owned. And it throws back to when I was like 10 when A Fever You Can't Sweat Out came out. And I didn't understand the majority of the words that they were singing. And I love Panic so much.
Can we talk about how we very nearly had half of our finalists of this competition be music from our childhood?
All right, yeah, I don't feel good about that, but I'm gonna have to feel okay about it. So that's where we're at.
All right. Okay. Panic. Wins.
All right, Ian, are you ready?
No, this is do you guys feel at all mentally drained?
Yeah.
Like
I'm glad we're not doing the combined one tonight because I don't think we could pull through.
No.
All
There'd
right.
be too. Our negative emotions right now would be fueled into anger because two people would pick a song that the other person really feels strongly about, and yeah.
We'd just all be mentally drained, like enraged, like.
Me and Ian would vote against Silverstein, and Joel would explode.
All right. Okay. Just do this. Let's peel off the Band-Aid. I feel like I gotta flip a coin.
Le Soli by Sigur Rós versus Over the Hills and Far Away by Led Zeppelin. Pick now. Go.
Oh, man. Dude.
Ian,
Yeah.
come on.
It's coming. Oh.
He's pulling the sock off his microphone.
Don't hear that every day.
Ew.
Sigur Rós. It's gonna go to Sigur Rós.
That was the wrong decision, boy.
It's
That
gonna
is-
go to Sigur Rós.
I'm curious to see what that song goes up against in the next round because I absolutely hated that song.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
It was better than some of the other ones, but I was not a fan.
Joel, you should listen to that song. I wonder if you'd like it. It's a pretty song. Man, but see, I feel bad about it. But I would have felt bad about it if I had gone with Led Zeppelin.
Really? Yeah, that's how I feel about Amity. Like, I'm like, God, did I really just cut Amity? But if I hadn't cut Amity, then...
Mm-hmm. Man.
Okay,
I thought we'd get to the end of this and I'd be like, happy.
I told you, this is Sophie's choice.
This is rough.
I don't know what to say.
Man.
Are y'all all right?
I need to take a nap.
I hurt.
Dude,
just like you
I was
hurt Johnny Cash.
I wonder how far Project J6 is going to get. Turns out they'll be eliminated first round.
That's how I felt about Muse.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, Muse is at least going to go," but
Did that on purpose.
Man.
No.
So I think we all did well with our brackets because with shaping the other person's brackets because that was not fun.
That was rough.
It was funny, but it was not fun.
Chris, you were like, Joelle didn't do that good of a job.
I know.
Joelle did so good that you had to do Backstreet Boys versus Frank Sinatra, which I will be tweeting.
I'll be honest.
I will be done.
I really wasn't expecting for him to get that far. Like I knew he'd get past the first round.
I wasn't expecting my favorite artist of all time and the author of a 10 out of 10 perfect album for me to make it that far, but there it is.
But here's the thing: that album that it's from is not a 10 out of 10 for me, and that song is definitely one of my favorites, but it's not one that I tried to pick one that I thought would do well, but I didn't think it would do that well.
Yeah. All right,
my dudes. Chris, you were going to tell us about coffee.
Oh yeah, so a while back, like one of the very first episodes of Chordcast, Joelle and I talked about concert prices, like ticket prices, and one of the examples I used in my part of the discussion was how Breaking Benjamin was charging obnoxious, ridiculous VIP package tickets. And I think this was around the time I went to see Sick Puppies, which cost like $60 maybe for a VIP ticket, and it was amazing. Breaking Benjamin just announced a new tour, and they're obviously having VIP tickets. And the price of this one is it's over $400. I think it's like $450, something like that.
$429.
$429. Okay. Well, it's probably much more than that after like taxes and Ticketmaster fees and all that garbage. But the main perk here, you get the sound check and you get the meet and greet, probably with all members except Ben, and you probably get the picture, things, typical VIP stuff. But like the main perk here is that you get to go on the tour bus and have a cup of coffee.
Life hack: go to Starbucks and spend $5 instead.
Yeah, okay, you get to go on their tour bus, but Sick Puppies had a acoustic performance on their tour bus for their headlining tour.
You know who does some cool tour bus stuff is Red.
Yeah,
I think it's free, actually.
Too.
I think if you get into the show and you go to their merch and say a word, a code, I don't remember what it is, like a code word or something, but you get to go on their bus, and I've done that. It's super fun.
Code Red, you're in. Welcome to our bus.
Stop.
But I'm just like, who would pay $429 plus?
Oh, there's people who will.
I know. There was one of their packages was you got a guitar, a signed guitar, which okay, but Breaking Benjamin, $429 to go on their tour bus.
No thanks.
And drink a cup of coffee, and quote, see what it's like to be on the tour bus.
Have fun sleeping in a bunk that this is the size of my kitchen table.
Exactly. But we can have this discussion at a later point, because I think it's worth talking about. But I worry about how the direction of concerts and tickets and shows in general. I'm glad there are still independent bands and some of the more smaller mainstream ones that are still being reasonable with their prices and the expectation of a show. If I spent $400 to only get the VIP package, that's not even including a ticket. That's $500 to see Breaking Benjamin and drink a cup of coffee on their bus is just dumb.
It's insane, dude. But supply and demand, people will buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk us out then of the episode. I'm gonna bring in our new intern Shania to say all the necessaries at the end of the episode.
All right, everybody.
Chris and I were so confused. I quickly did an inventory and I was like, are any of his kids named Shania?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ian the Beard. You can follow Chris on Twitter at The Curse of Chris. And you can follow Joelle on Twitter at X Joel May. That's MAE. And of course, you can follow the show at the Chordcast. And I'm gonna bring in Bruiser here to tell you about Patreon.
All right, everybody, listen up. I need you to give at least $1 a month to the Chordcast on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/theChordcast right now and give.
All right, I want to thank our 2 new interns for coming in and really helping us get the show out. That's it, everybody. We'll see you next time for the next bracket.
Oh, my stomach hurts.